So welcome everybody as we're still waiting for people to come in. Nice to have you in here. Um, this is an event for Retreat Boss magazine. Some of you have written before. Some of you are gonna be writing for the next issue. And we just want to make sure we have all our nuts and bolts all together and our I's dotted and T's crossed.
I'll be in that.
Sorry?
I'll be in that. It's just
So
an easy transition. That's all.
So I don't know if you've all seen the last issue. It was yeah, what's your reaction to the people that have seen it?
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. Gorgeous. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. Great job done by the entire team. I have to give big credits to Fritz, who's not in here today, who did the graphics, and of course Crystal, who's the editor-in-chief. And next to me on my screen, I don't know about you guys, but Crystal is if you don't know her, is a four-time best-selling New York Times author, is a ghostwriter, is our editor-in-chief, is incredible. And I'm gonna let her take charge of this. I just wanted to, Crystal, introduce yourself a little bit, and I just want to say one little thing, and then I'm gonna let you take over the rest of.
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, all you. You
all
do
me?
what you need to first, and then pass it along. You
Okay.
tell me when.
So, one of the things that we're going to be doing going forth, whether you're a collaborative author already or going forward, there's going to be themed issues. Okay, so the next issue is going to be about transformation, but we're not talking about just transformation for people. It could be a transformation in space. So if there's like a venue space that has been transformed. It could be, on fashion, food, like think out of the box, because we are going to get a lot of coaches that are going to send in transformation. So transformation topics, and that's fine, but there's going to be a lot of competition on that, in a sense where there's going to be a lot of it. But the thing is, this time around, the deadline is very short. It's May 15th. So if you haven't written anything yet, get writing because it's May 15th. We want to meet the June deadline. So please do that. And if we don't accept your article, there's no guarantees, okay? We help you as much as we can, but there's a limit, especially with this time around. We don't have time to go back and forth with the edits, okay? So please, when you're writing, make sure you stay on theme. Okay, that's number one. Number two, do not promote yourself. You promote yourself, we're not accepting it. Okay, everybody gets to have their author bio at the bottom, and that's where you promote yourself. And when you're taking actually value away from what you're saying when you're promoting yourself. Just note that to yourself in a magazine. So please don't do it. It really doesn't help anybody, including you, okay? Because then there's like a manipulation sort of thing happening there. So just rate the value, show your expertise, and that expertise is going to come out in volumes to the readers, okay? The readers are 80% retreat seekers, okay? So understand that when you're writing. We're going to accept about 20% retreat professional to retreat professional, okay? Most of it is for retreat seekers. So understand that when you're writing that. And understand that retreat, doesn't have to be about retreats, the event. Okay. It's not about where you go, it's about how you grow when we're talking about this this magazine. So it's about the lifestyle and mindset of retreating. The people that actually take the time to do things for themselves, to help themselves grow and maybe help others transform. It's about that type of lifestyle. Who embodies that, right? So think about that when you're writing. What is that type of lifestyle? Okay. So please keep that in mind when you're writing. I don't want it to be always about retreats because we do deal with retreats, events, fashion, drinks, events, spaces, products, right? So whatever your specialty is, your expertise, just understand that, right? You could even, I see different people, like there's venue people in here, there's sales people in here. think about how, the reader will partake in this magazine, okay? Yeah, okay, so this is a magazine that is printed. This is a magazine that is printed on demand in bulk or digital. We have a feature already for the next one, and it's a big one. FYI, it's a big one. And there's been a tremendous amount of interest, excitement over the magazine that just got first launched. As you can see, everybody who's an author has been promoted on social media and will continue to be promoted on social media. The people that do contribute it into this, the only thing that we ask for is if you get accepted, is you have to be part of the Retreat Match Marketplace, which is a public platform, a directory. It actually helps you. It's $97 for the year. Really, it's nothing, okay? And it's not because you're a writer. It's because we want to connect you and promote you in the directory as well. So it's actually nothing. It costs you nothing. It costs you $97 to be an author and to be part of this directory, which will bring you business. So that's the only thing that you have to do. So if you don't get accepted, you will not hear from us. If you don't get accepted for this issue, maybe because you're not on theme or something like that, maybe we'll reserve it for another time. Okay, if we do actually like your writing, we will mention to you, we will tell you that you have been accepted possibly for the future. You're accepted for the future, but not for this one, because we really liked what you had to say, but it doesn't fit the theme. Okay, so understand that if we don't reach out in the next couple of weeks, right, Crystal? About a couple of weeks. So a week after, if you haven't heard from us a week after the 15th, so the 22nd, it means that you weren't accepted for the article wasn't accepted. We accept you. We love you. The article maybe just didn't fit well for the magazine that's coming out in June. Okay. So that's it from me. Crystal, I'm gonna let you take over.
Sure.
And do you need me to stay in here or can I hop off?
No, you can hop. You're good. Is Nicole
Okay.
sticking around for links
Nicole's
and
gonna
things?
stick around. Nicole's gonna stick around to help assist you, and
Amazing.
I'll hop off. Okay.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm
I don't
Crystal. I'm your
want-
editor-in-chief, and Catherine, I can still hear you, my love, just so you know. So let's have some fun. Listen, submitting an article to a magazine can be an incredible experience, and I want you guys to have that fun experience. I've been writing for literally my entire life, it feels like. And the one thing I know is that when we sit down and look at the page, sometimes the page is more intimidating than anything else because we don't have the idea or we don't know what to write. So the theme of this particular issue is transformation. And when we talk about transformation, Catherine's right. It's not just about transformation at a retreat, although of course we're RetreatBoss magazine. It's about the idea of transformation in our lives. How do we transform our health? How do we transform our fashion? How do we transform our architecture and our design? How do we transform our lives from the inside out and the outside in? Okay, so like Amy, my little kitchen fairy over there, I know you're going to give me some goodness about food and making it magical. And I see all of you guys. What I want you to figure out is, and this is why I'm here today. So you're going to get off mute and you're going to ask me questions in just a second. But the goal is to basically come up with your concept today so that you have an idea of what you're going to write and you've got my editor stamp of approval, like, yes, that's a good idea. Let's see it come to life on the page first. So if you're worried about writing something and just having it rejected, this is your chance to kind of like, I have an idea for a topic. Does this work? You can ask away. In terms of what I'm looking for, essentially it's all the things Catherine mentioned. I'm looking for, it stays on topic of the idea of transformation. It's not about selling yourself. So if you're just talking about like my retreat did this, my retreat does that, I'm going to say no. Sorry if that's what's happening, like it's going to be a no for me. What I need to do is come back and say, listen, when we attend events, when we go into our own kitchen, Amy, you're just so prominent on my screen. I'm going to use you for a second. When I go in my own kitchen, how can I transform my health and wellness? So oftentimes, that could be the idea of instead of taking things away, Why don't you add things to your diet that are going to enhance it? You know, you want the chocolate? Cool. Could we try dark chocolate? Could we add some protein to that to make it a better meal choice for you? That's a transformation, right? Super simple, but it's a transformation. In fashion, it could be finding the right colors for you and how to transform your wardrobe this fall, or how to do a capsule wardrobe. In architecture, it might be something along the lines of adding some feng shui into your space and how that can improve energy. If you're talking about, um, I host book writing retreats. So if I'm talking about book writing retreats, instead of talking about the retreat, maybe I'm going to talk about the healing journey that happens with authors when they write, right? So again, it's not necessarily about the work I do. It is, but it's not a direct reflection or a direct, like, you have to work with me if you want to heal. That's not the way it works. You come to me if you want to write a book, and then the healing is just part of that process. You all have something in your businesses right now, and I want you to think about it, in your business, in your life, in what you do. You all have something right now that is transforming lives. So think about what that transformation is, and I want you to tell me the story of that transformation. So how do we do that? That could be telling me the story of somebody else's transformation, an experience that happened. It could be telling me how you got there, right? You were sick and you had cancer and you did all this stuff, and the only thing that worked was breath work, and here's how you learned it, and here's how it transformed you. The story of transformation is actually more powerful than the how, which sounds really funny, but the storytelling of how we got to the transformation is more powerful than the actual mechanism of transformation. The mechanism is what they're going to come to you for later, because that's your specialty. Whether it's Ayurvedic medicine, whether it's learning how to run better retreats because you know the financials, whether it's going for 5K runs every day. It doesn't matter what the mechanism is. They're going to come to you for the mechanism, but first you got to show them the value. And the value is the transformation that's created by doing the thing that you do. So tell that story. Is that making sense to everybody, or am I confusing anyone? Y'all are good so far? I'm getting lots of shaking heads. I like it. Okay, so this is open space. Basically, the articles, I want roughly 1,200 words. If it's a little over or a little under, that's okay too. Essentially, for most people, I'm trying to do a 2-page spread. So if you've seen the current magazine, you'll know that most articles are kind of over 2 pages. That's kind of the end goal. But at the same time, if you have something and you're like, Crystal, I have something, but it's going to be super short, it's a 1-pager, I'll take it. If it needs 3 pages because there's that much story, I'll take it. Chances are I'm probably going to edit the crap out of it, but we'll work with it. What I'm trying to do with every author, and it wasn't possible in the first issue, was the first issue we had over 50 applications. I did not have time to go individually and give you feedback on every single thing that to change. If it was a no, it was just I don't have time to deal. Like, this is just a no, put it in the no pile and keep moving. What I'm trying to do this time, especially for people who've submitted already in the past and had a no from me, is I'm trying to give you more feedback on what the problem is so that you can fix it. So if it's a no, I'm still going to attempt to give you a response that says it's a no and here's why. This is what needs to be fixed. Even my yeses are often still going to get an email from me that says it's a yes and this is still what we need to tighten up or clean up or whatever. Sometimes if it's simple, I just make the edits for you and I send you a note that says I made some edits, just take a peek, let me know if that's cool. But oftentimes it is going back to you guys because I'm short on time to fix your own articles, just so you're aware. So it is a collaborative process, and because our timing is tight, May 15th is the deadline for submissions, which means I am under the gun, so to speak, to get you guys responses within a week to figure it out. And then you're literally going to have less than a week to turn it around for me. So if you get an email back from me that says, these are the changes that need to happen, I love you. I need you to respond to it really quickly and either say, yes, I can do that, or no, I can't. If it's a no, I can't, that's cool. I will move on and we'll find another article. If it's a yes, I can, it's great to just have that feedback that yes, it's coming back, but you pretty much have a week from the 15th to get me responses, which for some people, I love you, but it might mean that you have like 2 days to turn around some edits to me. I'm being honest and upfront. But the goal is to get this magazine printed by the end of June. And in order to do that and to meet deadlines and have time to actually make it look beautiful like our first issue, Fritz needs more time with your content to be able to mock it up and make it work. So that's the first step. So if you guys don't have it, this is the author application that we're using. Every single one of you, when you make a submission, please do it through this portal. This is how it gets sent to me. If you send it directly to my email, it will get lost. If you've already done it and sent something directly to my email, I promise you it's already lost. Don't not have an article because you chose to just send it to me in an email. It's really not going to work that way. I have too many submissions to track that this is the way we're tracking it. Okay, so if you're going to submit it that way. Pictures. If you have pictures, we want your real pictures. If you don't have real pictures, then they're not high resolution enough for a magazine. You need to write us a note to tell us what types of photos might make a great suggestion. We can use AI for some of those. We can find sometimes in like free, like, what is the word I'm coming up with? Free like databases for photos. We can look for stuff that applies. But as of the first issue, we didn't have enough people telling us what their imagery should be. So we had to guess. I love y'all. It ain't fun to guess what your imagery should be. Please don't make us do that again. So that's my recommendation for that. In terms of submissions, it's really easy. Submit. I'm trying to do edits as much as I can every 2 to 3 days. Keep in mind, I also have another job. I have things that I have to do too. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do it every single time as quickly as I want, but I am trying to keep above and board so that every few days I'm doing a round of edits and making sure that you guys are on board. Let's open this up to questions. I feel like now is the time. You guys probably have questions about your submissions, questions about the process. How can I help? Just come off mute and start talking. Charlotte's raising hands. I love it. Charlotte, go for it.
I'm polite.
Perfect.
For submitting pictures, I didn't realize we could for the last one, like for pictures for the articles, and that's fine.
Mm.
But to submit them this time, do we do it on that same submission form that?
Yep.
There's
Submit
more
it
than
on the
one.
same submission form. And once you've been told that your article is approved, there may be like if you're like the images are too big. So the way that I would recommend everybody do your images and the way that you're going to do your submission, everything's a Google Doc. So your submission is a Google Doc. You're sending me the link to said Google Doc so I can edit it so you can see my changes. If you're going to have photos, put them into a Google Drive and give us access to the drive. Show us what we can do. Just think about it as like, how do you make our lives easier? I promise you that's going to go a long way in making sure that I want to work with you on the project. Because I don't have time to chase, and neither does Fritz, right? So we're going to do our best with what we have. But if you don't tell us what images are there, again, Fritz and Catherine and I typically are going to try and make our best choice based on the article topic, which may or may not be the best photo for what you do or what you want to represent, right? So definitely submit photos. We need the photo of you, so a high resolution image of you as the author, because you are the pretty face that we're going to put in the author bio. But we also need photos for the article. So yeah, if you have professional photos, like, and Amy, I'm looking at you. Like if you start talking about food, professional photos of your food are going to do better than us just finding random photos of food on the internet, right?
Fair enough. What about if we were an author last time? Do you need author pictures of us this time, new ones, or can you?
Yes,
will you make?
ma'am. Because
Okay.
everybody saw how it printed this time. So if you want a different image, like I don't, I'm my choice. It's so funny. I'm the editor, right? But I didn't love the photo that was with my article this past issue. So I was like, okay, note to self, Crystal, we're going to change that. If I submit another article and I decide that it fits the theme and it works, then I'm going to change my image. So 100% you can change the image. Please do. We have it divided out. So every session of the magazine, every like issue number has its own set of files. And I'm trying not to, as much as humanly possible, go back in the files.
Fair enough.
So update me. And also, you know, we all get new haircuts and we look fabulous and we have our
I
own
don't.
transformations. It was like, no, I'm same haircut, same
sticking
everything.
with this.
Okay, but yes, please submit new photos if you have things. If you've already made a submission and you did not know that you could include photos and you want to, you can actually refill out the form for us and just add a link to the photos like give us the, just say, I forgot to include, I've already submitted, here's the link to photos. That's fine as well. Sound good? Any other questions? You guys are so easy today. I like this. Even.
Hey, sorry if you spoke to this already earlier in the
That's okay.
call, but just curious, it's published quarterly, this magazine?
That is our goal, is to publish
Okay.
quarterly. So we're a little behind on what we wanted to do because the first issue took us a long time to get set up and out. That's why there's a push to do this one so rapidly, but the goal is to make it a quarterly magazine. Correct.
Okay, and then after the next one's published, will there be another call like this to learn about the next theme for
Yes,
the upcoming
always.
ones?
Yeah,
Okay.
always. So every single time we're going to do another call like this, so I can explain the theme further. If you guys have questions about how the theme applies to your work, we can sit and
Yeah.
discuss it. We found these calls were easier. So originally what we said in the first round was if you had a question, you could just reach out to me directly. And to be
Mhm.
honest with you, my inbox was just overwhelmed. So these calls cut down a little bit of that. So you guys can ask me questions before you submit if you have them. Otherwise, my recommendation is you submit. I can review it and tell you if I think it's great or don't write that. Like I'm more
Yeah.
than happy to do that. So
Yeah. And just another question for now. I'll
Mhm.
try to leave room for other folks, but you said what, like 80% of the audience, the readership, is going to be retreat seekers, so retreat
Correct.
participants.
Yes.
For that 20% of
Yeah.
more venue to venue or with service providers, does
Yep.
that also mean that's going to be the ratio of articles, like about 20% of the articles
Correct.
are written from that perspective? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're actually the goal is to keep it under 20% is stuff that's written directly to folks who run retreats and things like that. We
Okay.
really want to, as much as humanly possible, speak directly to the folks who are attending.
Yep.
But we understand that people do come to Retreat Boss magazine at times because they run retreats and they're looking for like what's new, what's hot, what's interesting, what should I know. So we are catering to that a little bit, but less so than our participants.
Okay. Would it make sense to write an article for venues talking about their transformation? So I'm a service provider,
Okay.
like a consultant for retreat centers,
Yep.
and I do different types of work with
Yeah.
centers. Would that kind of article be appropriate to submit? Like talking about,
What do you mean? Like give
like if
me
I
give me an
wrote, like if,
example.
sure. So like if I wrote an article about an organization that had adopted like a teal organizational
Yep.
structure or developed these principles of decision making so that their
Yep.
team had like transformed how they operate behind the scenes, would that be
Totally.
relevant? Okay.
That would be relevant, absolutely. And what I would even consider is talking about the impact on the retreat seeker,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
So that way we kind of get a little bit of the both and we get some of the
Yep.
context of like it's helping people who are in the retreat space, but it's also going to like pull in the person who's a retreat seeker who's going, I just want to attend a retreat. Oh, well, this is really interesting. I wonder if my retreat space includes this type of an experience, right? So yeah, that's definitely applicable, Stephen. No problem.
Okay. Just a follow-up question, my last one.
Yeah, that's okay.
What I've noticed is that there's more and more there's a community building aspect to retreats, that it's not just a
Absolutely.
one and done experience.
Absolutely.
Also another trend I'm noticing, probably everyone on this call, is that there's a retreat for everything nowadays. You have
Yeah.
any kind of niche, any kind of group, like
Anything.
like you could
Yeah.
build a retreat around it. Doesn't matter what it is. Curious if there's an angle for an article around that, because I think that's the next kind of step in this industry, is not just a
Yep.
one and done experience, but a different model, a different way of engaging people.
Absolutely. So we have Marusha, Carla, and I think it's David. My brain is going to say David.
Yep.
We had a trio write an article in the last issue, and it will be continuing in the next two that was very much about collaboration, building community around events. So I already have an article that kind of touches on a community development component. I'm not opposed to another one if it's got a slightly different twist to it or if it's more applicable. But we do have somebody that is talking about community and community building inside
Okay.
of
Okay, perfect.
retreats.
I'll go back, read that article, and then
Yeah.
just take
I
it
love
from
that.
there. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
I have a quick question. I'm
Yes, please, Shani.
for waterfall, and believe it or not, this is the quietest place I could find in the location that I'm at, so I do apologize.
It's all good.
So I'm a nervous system coach, and I do
Love
work
it.
with breath work. So I'm glad that was one of the things that you
Yeah.
said at the beginning that I could bring up. But I wanted to come from the angle of transforming your mental health, your mental state.
Yeah.
Some people that I work with that have been working with therapists for years and years and years,
Yeah.
in the same kind of transformation as using your own breath, something simple, something free.
Love it.
So I wanted to come from the angle of the transformation and how that connection with yourself overflows into connection with others, and how
Yes.
it affects your life, not just you, but everything that you do. But also, I wanted to incorporate. I didn't copy you, I promise. I already had my notes for this, but
All
I
good.
wanted to incorporate why I got into this to help other people. I had a nervous breakdown. I had childhood trauma, bullying, you name it, tried all the things, didn't work, tried breath work, and it made such a difference that I could not tell people
I
about
love
it.
that. I love that.
And then the change in the life is that kind of
Yes. So the short answer is yes, it would apply. Be cautious about promoting yourself as a breathwork facilitator, right?
I
So
wouldn't
you,
yeah.
yeah. So just be cautious, like avoid talking about that. You can 100% talk about your story, how you got here, how it's changed people, even bring in conversation about, you know, the other people that you've seen it change and support, that kind of value. If you bring that in, Chinny, you're right on target. No problem.
Okay, perfect. I think, talking about other people that it helped
Yeah.
in my workspace, not the breathwork workspace. I mean, at the time it helped regular workspace, my marriage, my connection with my kids, all of
That's
that.
perfect. That's perfect. That'll bring the mental, like the well-being from a holistic purpose rather than just a one track. So
Okay.
yeah, that 100% fits. You're right on track. No worries.
Thank-
Something I also wanted to mention to folks, and this issue is going to be a little different from the first issue, in that we also have, you know, we can feature you, and you can recommend people for features, like that's an option. But the way that we do that is basically you would buy an advertorial or an ad. So sometimes if you submit something and it's very much leading into a promotion about yourself, I love you. We'll print it if you really want, but it's going to be an advertorial and it's a paid advertorial. So we don't just do those for freebies. But it is an option for some people. So if you do, and this might be more applicable, I think, sometimes to the folks who are running retreats, if you want an advertorial to actually talk about your specific retreat or something like that, you can reach out to Nicole and Catherine and have a conversation about running advertorials or ads for your retreats and your workshops and all the other things that you do. For us, once you do a submission, once the article has been approved, that bio in the bottom is really what's going to drive people to your marketplace ad, which really explains exactly what you do. So if you have a marketplace position for yourself already, great. If you don't, please get yourself one. But the goal here is that we're driving traffic to you. We 100% want to drive traffic to you. Yeah, so you can join now at retreatmatch.com. Thank you, Nicole, in the background. So go and fill out your Retreat Match profile, be part of the marketplace. Your little bio at the bottom is going to direct people there, and that's where they're going to learn more information about you, right? So that's where you're going to talk about all the work that you do. That's your place to basically brag and run your ad and tell people like how amazing you are and what you can create for them. That's the end goal. And if you're interested, reach out directly to Nicole for ads and advertorials, and she can send you the pricing for all of that good stuff. Like, I know for me, even for this first issue, I'm already like, I think we're gonna do another ad because I've watched the ad prove itself from the magazine into people reaching out about my retreats. Just so we're clear, like one issue, I'm already getting connections for people being like, hey, I want to know more about what you do. So if that works for you guys, hello, Retreat Boss Magazine, Nicole and Catherine will talk to you all about ads. They are very generously not allowing me to touch that because I have my hands full with editing things. So I love them and they're going to do that component. But if that's for you and you want to do that, that's totally fine. We can talk features and advertorials. If you do send me something and it sounds like an advertorial, I will hit you back with a, this is an advertorial. You should talk to Catherine or Nicole if you want this published. Otherwise, let's shift. Questions? Sandra. Dr. Sandra. I like it.
Hi,
Hello,
Sandra.
Dr. Sandra.
We can use the towel for the magazine.
Perfect. Just Sandra for friends. Got it.
I was curious. I didn't notice, and I'm not saying that there wasn't one, a particular theme.
Yep.
The issues for each quarter. I don't know whether you were planning on a particular theme for.
Yes. Yeah. So you missed that. So the first issue, to be honest with you, we didn't have much of a theme because we were just kind of like,
Let's
it was the inaugural issue. We got a lot of stuff and we didn't know which direction y'all were going to head when you started making submissions. So we left it very open to see what would kind of happen. What we recognize is that very much so, and that we need a theme for each section to like narrow down what you're writing about. Because when we left it open, my goodness, when I tell you the breadth and depth of y'all's posts from the first session, I was like, I remember having a conversation with Catherine. I was like, I don't know how we pull this all together into one cohesive bit because we're kind of all over the place. So the beautiful thing is each of the issues from going forward is going to have a theme to it. So you're already going to know what you need to theme to. So the theme for this upcoming issue is transformation.
Okay.
Personal transformation, professional transformation, retreat transformations, life transformations, mental health transformations. If it's a transformation story, that's what we want to talk about.
Okay, that's beautiful. I'm like, I was hearing transformation come up multiple times. I'm like, is this just coincidence or is everyone else thinking about the same thing I'm thinking about?
No, that's 100% the theme. That's 100% the theme. And a lot of the themes are going to go along similar lines, right? Like we've talked about well-being being an option. We've talked about freedom as another option. So you are going to get given a theme and we want to try and stick to that theme as closely as we can. It makes my job easier because I just skim your things, and if it doesn't apply, I'm like, well, that's easy. Thank you for the submission. That won't work. We are trying to keep some stuff for later, but in truth, because we haven't completely mapped out all of the future issues, it's hard for me to say I'm going to hold on to this till later if it doesn't fit, because I don't know what my next issue is necessarily going to be until we pick a theme. It's kind of like the Met Gala every year. Like we watch what's happening in the industry and with you guys, and we kind of pick a theme that seems to be resonating and that we're getting a lot of questions and feedback about. And so they're always going to change a little bit. So if you're not accepted, I suggest you either print it, publish it somewhere else, or hold on to it for at least an issue to see if it fits for the next round is my recommendation. But we are kind of ongoing. This is going to be every 3 months. You guys are going to see my lovely face talking about it's time for the next issue. Let's go. Here's what we're doing. So this time around, it's transformation though.
Thank you. Yeah,
You're
no,
so welcome. No worries.
Have you planned for the next two?
Have we planned for the next two? No, not yet. No.
Okay.
I cannot give you that answer. We've talked about what the next two issues are, but again, we want to keep timely to what's happening in the industry and the world. And for those of you existing in the world, okay, all of us, the world is shifting so rapidly that we don't know exactly what we want to talk about in the next issue. But I think it's fairly safe to say, again, I think like issues like freedom, wellness, joy, wonder, which sounds very funny because it feels like a very overarching theme. But I think those are some of the topics that we're kind of approaching. Change might be a topic, things like that. So I can't tell you for certain. Also, it's part of our marketing that we get to tell you every 3 months what the new topic is. And I get to have these lovely calls where we sit and chat about topics and themes. So yeah, I can't tell you, Tracy, but I think you can make some educated guesses of where we might head next.
Got it. Yeah, I get it.
Cool.
Question quickly. So
oh, Laura, I was like, who am I listening to? Sorry. Hi, Laura.
Sorry, I can't because I'm on my iPhone. Being on Zoom, it's a bit more intriguing. Would a article about cultural perspective, I'd love to talk about more of like the food and tasting in different cultures, because I'd have to say it's more of and I'd call it more of like perspective power, that when you start seeing things, and I'll have to figure out how best to, capture this, but it's more of when we experience different cultures, it opens our eyes to like, we have way more in common than we have different, which like is so much going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
To like, turning it into when we become the observer about ourselves and so forth. So, because I mean, I've been blessed that I've been to 35 countries, and that's what's enriched my life.
Yeah.
And just to be like, all cultures are different, and when we understand those differences, it actually empowers us.
I love that. And
Yes.
my advice to you would be to go deeper into some of the storytelling around that. So,
Oh, yeah.
How are cultures transforming? How has it transformed you? What do you recommend people do if they want this kind of transformation for themselves? Like all of that is kind of where you're going to take it. At the end of the day, always think about your articles as what value can I add? And if somebody wanted to do the same thing for themselves, where would they start? So think of, my byline for most people is think of yourself like the yellow brick road, and you're just laying the paving for somebody else to go do what you did or how you did it or whatever for themselves. So they'll never take your exact journey, but they might take an element of it that they're like, oh, actually I could go do that. That would make a lot of sense for me. I honestly believe more people should travel, the world would be a better place, but that's a whole other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of going around from that, but I'm getting around the power of like the different types of foods as well. But I also, I'm not sure if the kitchen fairy is on, but I'm sure she'll write an amazing article.
She is actually on.
Like I can't see who's on right now, but I'm like, I can do a cool
here.
article with you if you choose. But I also want to make sure you get your space. But because I'm always like, part of it too is like, I call it like the spice of life, and like, sometimes you want like the cayenne pepper or like the wild super hot peppers from Africa to the like, like I just want some basil. And I mean, like one of the most wild meals I had was pumpkin nut curry in Cambodia, and I was like, oh my god, this is like such a different style and taste. And it was like, I mean, I remember that meal from 15 years ago.
There you go. I love that. So and that's something else to speak to. So if any of you work in similar fields or do similar things and you want to do collaborative articles, we 100% allow collaborative articles. We've done them we did them in the inaugural issue. We had 3 people write a collaborative article. You are more than welcome to do that. To be fair, sometimes it will increase the chances and likelihood that we're going to accept the article. Because if you're on similar wavelengths and similar vibes, my job is to basically look at the 2 articles and go, this is the better of the 2 articles. That's just the way it's going to work. The more powerful the writing, that's the one I'm going to choose, or the one that more aligns to our theme. So it might be worth it, Laura, for you and Amy to have a conversation and say, I'm going to write about this. Are our topics so totally different, or is there some way that we can combine and come up with something cool? When that happens, you both get author bylines, by the way. So like, it's not like we're going to join you as one human. You'll still actually get to be your own individual human and highlighted in the magazine as such. And that way, you can do it. But yeah, I'm all for collaborative articles. Honestly, sometimes I think they produce even more powerful ones than individual ones. So
cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No worries. My pleasure. Who else? Megan. I was looking right at you too. I was like, I wonder if she senses this. This is cool.
Oh my gosh. Well, and my dog is attacking me right now too. So she's telling me it's time. So I'm vetting a few different options, and I wanted to just kind of go high level with you on the 3.
Let's do it.
So my first one is about emotional capacity as the new wellness metric and why thriving means more than just self-care. So kind of transformation of wellness and just that aspect. The second is about the power of pause and how stillness transforms your life.
Okay.
And then my third is healing isn't just about doing and how to go from busy to being.
Okay, so the last 2 I've had similar article submissions for. So immediately I'm like, I've had similar. So again, you be in the proving to be the best author of said articles. The first one feels more aligned to this particular issue.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think talking about the emotional changes and that sort of transformation, I think that totally aligns. it's an interesting topic for sure, and I'm sure you can add something really powerful to it. The other two, keep in your back pocket future issues that might come up. Here's the thing, guys. Just because something's been written in one issue doesn't mean we'll never allow you to write an article about that same thing somewhere else down the road. It just literally go for the strongest one that aligns to the topic, if that makes sense. So the one where you can prove the most. And I like to tell my clients when we're writing books or magazine articles or whatever, that at the end of the day, I want you to go in to not just tell me, but show me, right? So we all went to show and tell as kids, and we brought in something to our class, and we were like, look, the look is often the topic, like the title of your topic, right? Like, 5 ways to lose belly fat in 3 weeks. I don't know, whatever. That's a nonsense title, but you know what I mean. But that's the like look moment. The telling part or the showing part is the proof, right? So I can't just be like, you can lose belly fat in 5 days. I have to actually prove that. So that's where we get into before and after photos. That's where we talk about the journey for mental health. That's where we talk about the physical health. So the goal is to kind of expand it out. Your title of whatever you give me is kind of the like, I'm going to show you something. And the telling is the description of how, literally the proof that that thing actually exists and makes sense. So as long as you're doing that, we're good. On the topic of titles, we had such long ass titles in the first issue. Did anybody notice this? Like our titles were just enormously long. The goal here is 5 words or less. 5 words or less for the title. So if you have a title that is longer than that, I'm going to ask for a resubmission of a title change. So please don't make me just follow up with you 100 times on the title. Like just figure it out. Or if you don't, myself and Fritz and Catherine are going to change the title of your topic because that's the space we have for. When you're working in magazines, it's not like a book. I can't just make extra space. In a magazine, I'm given a certain amount of space that I have to fit. It's 5 words. So try and get your titles down to 5 words or less. I'm watching all of you go, ooh, that's harder than writing the article. Tracy especially is like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? You'll be fine, I promise. That is actually something, by the way, that I recommend AI is wonderful to help with. I'm not a big fan. Please don't use AI to write your articles. Dear God, for the love of God, I got so many AI written articles in the first issue and I hated it. Please don't, because there's nothing worse than me having to hit you up with this sounds like AI wrote it. And every single person I had to do that to in the first issue was so mad at me. And I was like, I love that you're mad at me. And I still know AI wrote it. So like, let's not be mad, but you have to rewrite this. You can be mad if you want. I'm still not going to print it. So cool. Don't use AI to write your articles, but in terms of a title, if you need to use AI and be like, I have a 5-word maximum, my article is about this, can you help me come up with a title? Please, for the love of God, do it, because there are days when that's how I help figure out your titles. Save me the effort of going to ChatGPT to ask about your titles, because sometimes I don't know, and I have to ask ChatGPT for a title suggestions. So just do it for yourselves. Cool? Can y'all save me a little bit of time on that one? Love you. I love it. All right. Any other questions? These are so much more fun than all the boring details. I like it. Come on, Amy, what you got?
Go. Okay, so for my my article with a recipe, like I'm gonna try to do recipes with everything. I want to transform the experience you have at a retreat eating breakfast and give pointers on how you can bring that home and have a retreat level experience of breakfast in your own home every day.
Ooh.
Does that sound?
Retreat breakfast at home. I dig it. I like the title. Like, I love that.
Can we do that? Retreat breakfast at home. Oh, it's 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. So, like, I love that idea, right? So, like, and that's often the things that we're speaking about when we talk about this. Like, the transformation might start before the retreat or at the retreat or something. How do we bring that home? How do we continue the transformation in our lives? Having a transformation, like a retreat level breakfast every morning in my life would make my life so much easier. I'm in New Zealand right now, in case y'all are wondering about my weird ass background. I am currently in New Zealand. That's a terrible view, but whatever, you get the idea. But we start every morning with pie in New Zealand. Probably not the healthiest option in the world, but the most delicious, easiest to grab on the go. Love it. But if somebody told me a recipe for how to make healthy pie every morning so I could still continue my New Zealand retreat experience at home, I'd be game. Like that's a really cool, fun thing that you can continue, right? I like it.
You send me one of the recipes of the pie.
Girl, I don't have a recipe. I just go to the bakery and they give them to me.
Okay, New Zealand pie. Are they sweet or savory?
They're savory. They're little hand pies. Like literally, we pick them up. Like it's delicious.
You're like a little New Zealand little monster.
Delicious. My husband loves he has these bacon and egg pies every morning that he loves, and I'm a weirdo, so I go steak mushroom every morning. I need more protein than bacon and egg.
Yeah.
I go steak mushroom.
There you go.
This morning it was chicken, leek, and mushroom pie. They're delicious. I feel like you would love these things. And I've never, for the record, because I am a pie connoisseur. All right, guys, I did not get to my size by not eating food. I am a pie connoisseur, and I actively say that I've tried every time somebody has told me we have a New Zealand pie at home in Canada. Never found another one. It is like a New Zealand version of an empanada. It's exactly what it is.
Interesting. Delicious. So it's about how they do the dough. Also, their water is probably different. Their butter is different. So you may never get anything.
Yeah, girl, all of
it's crazy.
I know, it's so sad. I've contemplated freezing it and literally chucking it in my luggage and trying to bypass through security. Some bomb sniffing dog is legit going to steal my pie, and I can't have that happen. So
see if you can bring home some of the flour that they use.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
There is an Australian bakery cafe in St. Augustine, Florida, of all places, that serves those pies. Yeah.
Dang, I love that. But yeah, I love the idea. So guys, expand on what Amy just said. How can you take something that you experience at your retreats and bring it into your regular life? That's a great way to literally go, how do I continue the retreat experience? I don't like it. It's really funny. Catherine calls it retreating, and it always makes me think retreating, I'm surrendering and I'm leaving the battle, which in my mind is no, it's the wrong word. Please don't do it. It's the idea of how do we continue the experience of the retreat space, that tranquility, that peace, that change, that transformation, the
fulfillment,
the fulfillment that we experience on retreats. How do we bring that outside of the retreat space so that people feel it every day?
Yeah.
Right. So if for you that means drinking celery juice every morning, I'm excited for you. If for you that means incorporating, I don't know, hill walks in the mornings, if that is part of your retreat experience that really kind of mellowed you out and you love it, cool. It doesn't matter so much what it is. It's how did it change you? How did it transform you, and how can it transform others?
I love it.
This is so funny. I love how we talked about pie on this call. This makes me so happy, guys. It's morning here for the record, so I literally finished scarfing down a pie right before our call, which is why it's in my brain.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out, Crystal. I'm gonna get you some pies.
Amy, you get me some pies, girl. I'd make great promises for you, but I don't have that kind of power in life, so.
No. I don't need promises.
I love it. Let's see, who haven't I talked to? Amy, Kara, either of you have questions? Denise, you haven't asked a question either. Kara's off. Hello, Miss Kara.
Hi, no. So, I come on camera here for a minute too. I'm trying to get her.
Hey, there she is.
I'm here, thanks. So mine will be to the 20%. So chances might be very slim here.
Hey, they need some great articles too. What's up?
So I already have it. So, and I love the title in the.
Did you submit already?
I sent it to your email, so I won't be doing that again.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's breath work for your back end.
Oh.
And it's systems for your business, right?
Okay.
Helping guests reset is your genius. So why is your business gasping for air? And then it goes on and on about, are you disorganized? Are your guests, over here meditating while you're in the back end on the phone trying to figure out, if the speaker's
ruining the peace. Yeah, I understand. I've been there.
Yeah, so that's
great.
That's the idea. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, 100%. That perfectly aligns. Again, just lean into what is, So oftentimes I like to give them the two dichotomies, right? So if I talk about like, are you doing this? And it sounds monstrous and chaotic and confusing, paint them a picture at the end of like what it could be.
Yep.
What would
Okay.
it be like to transform your retreats? And like, I have no problem with y'all using the word transform, transformation. It works for me. What would it be like to transform your retreats and finally feel the calm and the peace that your clients are, so that you can be more present in the experience too?
That's really what it is. But yeah, I'm going to make sure. And I'm even there, I'm like, there's no promo in this, but I just want to go through and make sure everything you went through. I've been
No,
taking
that's
notes
amazing.
and making sure it's good.
That's amazing. Like, honestly, I know that there's a lot of retreat organizers, venues, and stuff that read the magazine too. So my goal is always to have the highest quality of articles for them as well. So while they're a smaller component of the readers, they are readers. And to be honest with you, for me, most people who are retreat seekers also have the potential to be retreat leaders at some point, right? So it's a both and. So I think that every time we speak directly to them, like, how do they bring the retreat experience home? How do they transform their kitchens? How do they transform their fashion? That's one level of it. But the goal here is, these people are also potential clients that might start running retreats.
Yeah, cool.
I can't tell you the number of people who've attended a retreat of mine and then suddenly started running their own. And sometimes it's flattering and other times it's annoying. It just depends on the day.
So I have a question, because I have written mine and I'm now questioning first person.
Okay.
So tell me best practices for either writing in first person. I mean, yes, there's story to it, versus speaking to somebody specifically.
So as a general rule, I prefer that you're speaking to somebody.
Okay.
As a general rule, that would be my preference, is that we're speaking to somebody rather than first person. More so because, again, I want it to feel like you and I sat down for a conversation and you are giving me this great advice. You're telling me this beautiful story, right? So oftentimes that's my preference. But to be fair, again, sometimes it just depends on how it was written. And sometimes I read it and go, holy crap, that was so good. And it has to stay exactly as it was. So I'm not, in terms of best practices, I usually feel like write it for someone is my preferred typically. But again, it depends on the article, Tracy. I think I saw yours pop up today. Hold on.
No, I haven't submitted it yet.
You haven't submitted it yet. Okay.
No, because I mean, it is, like, because my title had too many words in it.
What? I'm shocked when you were like, oh, when I said it. So here's the thing.
Well,
you can also submit two options, right? So you can, like, guys, when you're doing the submissions, because it's just going to a link.
Right. Yeah.
If you had two particular options and you were like, can you just guide me which one's better? I can do that. Like, that's fine. You can be like, there's option A and option B that work. That's really fine. Bye, Shani. Thank you so much. Have a great day. You can definitely make multiple submissions in the same article, and I can look. I'm not going to look at more than two, though. I love you all. Please don't give me like 10 submissions and just be like, I'm so convinced that I have to be in it. Please don't. Amy, nice to see you. Does that help, Tracy?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like, because Ayurveda is so special and it does come from firsthand experience, it's like kind of telling my experience and then the recommendation. Well, because the title, I've kind of come down to rediscovering self, how Ayurveda helped me remember who I am. Kind of subtitle. But then a story of how it actually changed me, and then suggesting things that people can do.
I think that sounds great. So literally, I would submit it to me as is, and I will give you feedback if I'm like, you know what, I'm not feeling this way. Like, and again, my feedback is never meant to be mean, guys. It's just, it's part of the gig. And to be fair, nobody in the world has ever liked an editor. Myself included, especially writing books for a living. I hate my editors. But they're right 99% of the time. So just roll with me on this when I tell you, like, hey, this didn't work or we need to change that. But I would say if you've got an article and you're really excited about it, because half the battle is honestly writing something that you're just really excited about.
Yeah.
And that you want to share with people. So if you're really excited and you want to share it with people, send it to me. I'll give you notes. Worst that happens is I ask you to rewrite something for that.
Yeah.
Bye, Kara. Bye, Stephen. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
No worries.
I think feedback is so helpful because it tells me what not to do.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
I want to know what not to do so I can focus on what I should be doing. Yeah.
And listen, I'm the first to explain to all of you that this is only our second issue. We are still learning as we go with you guys and seeing what's working, what's not working. So this is why these calls are so important to me, because I learn with every issue what our challenges are, what our opportunities are, and what we need from you next. So it's important, at least until we kind of get into this is just the submission process, right? We're not Vogue yet. Sorry. I don't have a very clear, this is the editorial, this is what it has to be. We're still playing with it a little bit. So feel free to take some chances right now and submit stuff to me, because I don't even know what's going to jog for me and go, ooh, actually, that's really good. We need to think about that for next time. But I like the diversity of voices that we're getting. Something that's key and I'm really conscious of is the fact that we need more diversity in voices. So please also send out our submission, our contributing author stuff, share it with other people, get other submissions on board for us. If you know somebody really great who'd be an awesome person for the magazine, we would love to have them. So please send them the link to share. And actually become part of the magazine for us. The way that we find most of our people, honestly, is because you guys are sharing it out and telling people about this magazine and whatnot. But we get better, the better articles we get, the better features we can have, the more people pay attention to us. So if you have somebody, and specifically I'm speaking diversity across culture, across background, across experience, I want all of it. We have been, and we are very Canadian American focused. We do have some European presence, but I'm in New Zealand. I'm definitely going to be sharing this with some Kiwis to try and get some South Pacific. I've got some folks in Fiji. I want more expression from across the globe. So if you have connections to incredible people that you think have something to say, we want to hear from them. And it's not going to diminish your chances of being published. It's just going to help all of us continue to expand to the point where, I love the 120 page magazine. I want it to be the most jam-packed 120 pages or 80 pages or 100 pages that we can do. And the variety of voices is only going to help that.
So I have a question, Crystal.
Yeah.
Hey. So my question is that I am a little bit premature, early in terms of my program that I do, and I want to write about it when it's time. So it's financial literacy, and I believe that eventually we can run a retreat with that, but obviously we just get started with a course on financial literacy, and it's for people that are before they're 45 years old and then after 45 years old, because they have different things in mind, and then eventually it's going to have a bonus for parents to teach their children financial literacy, which I don't believe has been taught in education in schools and so forth.
Definitely not.
Is that a topic that you would be interested in terms of the magazine? And I'm also premature because I'm thinking that I'm probably not going to do it in this publication until the following,
I mean, okay, so the question's always going to come up as to what is going to be our theme or topic for a following issue, and does it fit the theme or topic? So in transformation, I could see writing about financial transformations that we go throughout our lives, right? There's a journey that our finances take, right? So you could talk about the transformation of your finances and how it's still possible, even if you don't have a retirement plan at 45, it's still possible to build yourself one. It's just going to take more work than it did at 20, right?
Okay.
So you can still talk about that. We haven't touched a lot on finance. So to be honest with you, Amy, I'm really interested in what you'd have to say, because that's an element that we've not really spoken about. We've spoken about retreat finances and how to make more profit on your retreats and stuff like that. We've certainly talked about some of those topics, but what we haven't talked about at all is anything to do with personal finance and, how does that work? So I think, to be honest with you, if you come up with the right angle, you could be a great fit for this, even though it's premature for you. If you did it, you would, get yourself listed in a Retreat Match magazine. It's like $97 for the whole year. and then essentially drive people to it. So you could say coming soon, workshops on blah, 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 right? Like you could use that.
Okay, and that's not promoting. That's not.
So you couldn't talk about, sorry, so the article can't talk about upcoming workshops on blah, blah, blah. The article has to talk about the transformation of finance and how it's changed over the years and why it changes as we grow and how we can have better finances in the future. That's the transformation there.
Yeah.
Where I'm talking about being able to promote yourself is once you get accepted for an article, it's $97 to be part of the Retreat Match community. Once you're in the community, you get a listing in the member, like in the directory, and the directory is what links you. So your author bio on your post might be Amy Lau is a certified financial blah blah blah. She has upcoming she hosts retreats or hosts workshops, etc. They click your link. The link is going to take them to your listing, and your listing is where you can actually talk more in depth about your background and what you do and blah blah blah. So you're not directly advertising something in the magazine, but your link is going to be your advert.
Okay. Well, okay, so that makes more sense. Thank you so much, Crystal, for clarifying that. So my program is not just, there's a lot of financial advisory out there. What I'm seeking to do is unbiased financial information or education, not on just the mechanics of it, but more holistic, where we're looking at really building the mindset, and then taking people from a scarcity to abundance mindset, or from a survival mode to where they're thriving and able to make choices in their lives from a financial standpoint that support their life purpose as opposed to the beginning. And so I can see, since I'm an immigrant, that's why I came to this. This is my life's work. That I could do an article on my personal financial transformation over the years, if that speaks to you.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's the transformation, right? So that's going to kind of guide us into like what's happening. The kicker is, once we tell our own personal stories, you remember that you have to leave value for the audience, right? So the value for them would be, if you're looking to create personal transformation of your own finances, start here. And maybe it's just 5 simple things they can do, like take an audit of what you want, figure out what your retirement number looks like, know what investments you can make, or look at personal investment. Like, so you're still going to give them some value and some tips to bring forward for themselves, but telling it through the story of you. I always joke that we are our best tool for marketing ourselves and talking about what happens, right? Like, I know, I'll give myself as an example because it's easy for me, but I started writing literally to heal my soul. I was a broken 9-year-old who lost her best friends, plural, and family in a fire. And I didn't know how to heal from that. And I grew up in an age where therapists and stuff were not part of the deal. Like, people didn't know to send their kids to therapists, or if they did, they were like, well, no, they're not crazy. I'm not sending them to therapy. But I literally became a very sheltered, introverted, quiet 9-year-old who was older than she should have been because she'd been through trauma. And the way I dealt with it was literally writing. I healed myself through writing because I didn't have any other option. I tell people that story all the time when they ask why they should write, because you should write, because it's literally incredibly healing to release it on paper. To release the power that it holds over you by writing something down is incredibly powerful. And that's why I do what I do. And that's why I still do what I do, because it doesn't matter. I could take any one of you ladies in this room right now, write a book with you in the next 90 days, and you would completely transform your life.
Wow.
Doesn't even matter what we write about, right? Because I know that the power of writing transforms people, because it's a different mechanism to see your life and your experiences in a different light than what we typically do. So all of that to say, you're doing the same thing, right? So when you tell the story of like being an immigrant, changing your life focus, having to figure out finances in a way that you never did before, and how you've transformed it so that going into retirement, you're going to have this incredible life, or your kids are going to be set up, whatever. That tells the story of why. And then the mechanism is that there's a better way to do your financial planning and there's a better way to look at your finances, and I can help you transform it.
Okay.
So it's subtle, very subtle, nudging people in the right direction. They will come to you because they want the transformation in their life and they're like, wow, you had this transformation. I want to do that too.
Yeah.
It's not a direct like marketing of exactly what you do, except on the, like I said, in the marketplace. That's the place to literally sell yourselves.
Okay.
I'd show you guys my marketplace setup, but to be honest with you, I had a conversation with Nicole this morning that I need to adjust it because I hate what I currently have written there. Because I wrote it literally on the fly just to get the post up, and then I was like, oh, it really should be a place to market yourself and talk about what you do. And like genuinely be like, here's who I help and here's how I help. So when we click out of your author bio, that component, that link that they go to is really where you're going to sell yourself. It is a mechanism to sell yourself. Think of it like an ad. We want you don't have to give a ton of value. You need to sell yourself on that page.
Well, I have to change that too. I mean, the way that I'm offering the program is I am offering it with a licensed partner, financial licensed partner, but I myself do not have that license. But I am approaching it purely from my story standpoint. Also, thank you for clarifying that.
I think that's amazing.
15th. So
yay! I know the date is coming super fast, guys, but yeah, like honestly, I think it's a really great choice, Amy. So I would love to see something from you on like financial transformation because I think it really fits the theme.
Great.
Amy, I think of you for a lot of women that have gone through a financially devastating divorce. And how the hell do you recover after that? I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out myself, but like that would.
I mean, that's also a great topic, right? How do you transform your finances after divorce or after tragedy?
Yeah. Absolutely. And actually that's part of our course is that we talk about the grieving process. And it's not only grieving a loved one, somebody who dies, but also the death of a relationship. And then how do you handle that and like get your finances in order from that experience. So definitely. Yeah. So
beautiful. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Tracy.
Crystal, I'll tell you really quickly. One of my friends read the magazine and she's like, oh my God, it's so pretty. Da, da, da. She's like, I feel so honored to know you.
That's so cute. Oh my God, I love that. So, to be fair, so like you know how like our friends are always our cheerleaders, but sometimes they're just like, yeah, you're doing
whatever.
Yeah. So my friends did the same thing when I was like, guys, I'm editor-in-chief of a magazine now. I'm switching back into magazine life. I did magazines years ago, haven't done them in ages. I was like, I'm switching back into magazines. I love writing books, but this is just a fun new, like playful outlet. I get to talk to more people and blah blah blah. She was like, yeah, that's cool. She didn't really think anything of it. And then the magazine came out. Took me a week to get her to even look at the damn thing. And then when she looked at it, she's like, oh my God, it's like a legit magazine. And I was like,
exactly.
I am so annoyed by you right now. What do you mean it's a legit magazine, you jerk? She's like, honestly, you talked about the magazine. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. She's like, I thought it was just like a little pet project for you. Like, it wasn't a thing. And she's like, now I see it. She's like, it's gorgeous. It looks like, you know,
a real
Vogue,
magazine.
Basically. Like it's a real magazine. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. Too funny. So our friends and family are usually the last ones to pick up on how magical and amazing we are, which is very funny.
But same, it took like 5 days after I gave her the link.
See? And like I had to nudge her like a dozen times to be like, have you looked at it yet? Have you looked at it yet? Have you looked at it yet? Like my face is in it more times than I care to announce, but have you looked at it? She's just like, no, what am I looking at? Oh, parents and friends and family. My parents, by the way, still have not looked at it because they are not tech savvy, and I am in New Zealand.
You may have to ship them a real copy.
Yes, I contemplated that, and then I was like, you know what? I am just gonna wait until I'm home because it's more fun when I get to see their faces looking through it anyway. So
I think I'll order one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The other thing you guys can do for the record is when you go on Amazon to like buy copies, leave a review of the magazine. So the way that Amazon works, for those of you who don't know, is that Amazon works on a review basis. Amazon will not promote you organically unless it has a shit ton of reviews. So the only way we're going to get more people actually purchasing the magazine, even seeing the magazine, is 100% for reviews. So if you haven't already written one, please go to the Amazon link and write a review of the magazine. I think literally yesterday my review showed up and it was the only one on the whole thing, and I was like, it feels weird that the editor in chief is the only review right now.
Well, does that have to happen with each issue? Or can they be bulked under? Oh.
Yeah, on Amazon it's every single issue, but especially this first one. So like I had to get the direct link originally to the Amazon. Actually, Nicole, you're around. Do you have the Amazon link? Any chance that we can pass that to the group? Anyway, I had to get the Amazon link from Catherine because I'm in New Zealand, and when I would Google it, it would literally be like, "There's no such magazine. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, there is. I promise you there is. I haven't worked this hard on something that doesn't exist. It's there. I'm not living in some weird alternate thing." I don't know what you posted to us, Nicole. Does that link to anything for anyone else?
That's the Amazon link.
Oh, that's the Amazon link. Does this work?
It doesn't.
Does this work?
No.
If you copy paste, it should.
You can't copy paste from.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, you can't copy paste.
Give me a second. I'll
I was like, I'm not crazy, right? That just looks like a bunch of letters and numbers to people right now. Anyway, yeah, so that's absolutely the way to go is if you can go and write reviews and encourage people to write reviews. I mean, I'm going to harass my husband today and be like, you have to go write a review. I like go write reviews so people can find it. Hey, there we go. Amazon links for everybody. So yeah. So do the Amazon link, ask other people to write reviews, anybody that you can get to write a review, because it will start showing up more organically and actually say, like, encourage people to go and buy the magazine, which is what we ultimately all want. The more people that read the magazine, the better. Nicole, do we have a number, you would know better than I do, of how many people have actually read the magazine online as of right now?
As of right now, I'm not 100% sure, but as of a few days ago, we had like 12,000 page views.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Can you put a link to where it is online as
Yeah,
well?
sure. I'll do that right now.
Nicole's the link lady. She's got all the links to everything.
Yeah.
I love it. So that's, I mean, definitely keep, and again, guys, keep sending it out. Like, even if you're not in the first issue, please send it out, ask people to review it. The more people that view it and get used to it, the more people are going to pick up our second, third, fifth issue. And then make sure that we're doing submissions. But truly, like, if you know somebody that would be really cool for the magazine and would help give us some more variety and they've got something really powerful to say, I would love if you could share the link to get people to submit. It sounds really funny. It's often weird when it comes from me because they automatically think I'm going to say yes to their submission, and I obviously cannot. So it's really helpful when you guys share the submission and do that. The link for the submission is
saying, Charlotte, you're saying that the link to the magazine isn't clickable?
I clicked through.
Oh, I clicked it.
No, it doesn't show up as, it's not clickable.
Did you get the next
The Amazon one works,
yeah.
but the one that you put in that says magazine.retreatboss.com, and on mine it's not clickable. I can't copy paste.
Oh, the flip book?
The flip book.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Try
flip book.
now?
Sorry, the flip book is what I meant.
Does it work now?
Works for me.
No.
Okay, I'll send it to you via Circle. Is that okay?
Yeah, like I have it on Circle, but I was just I think it was Amy that asked for it. I can't remember who asked. But
Yeah.
I can't copy paste the flip book. The Amazon link is good. It's the flip book.
I got the flip book right away.
Oh, okay. So it's all good then?
It works for me.
Everyone has it?
I mean, I can link to it, but yeah.
Okay.
Crystal, with more ads sold, will the price of the magazine go down? Maybe.
So the price of the magazine is partially determined by a whole lot of things, mostly Amazon. So it's actually driven more by number of pages and things. So ads can help it come down if there's more ads. But a lot of it is driven completely by Amazon. So for anybody who's never published a book, Amazon is kind of a pain in the butt because they do print on demand. Which is why sometimes, like, that's why Catherine and Nicole have been encouraging you guys to reach out in terms of if you want to do bulk buys and things like that, because they can do some better pricing in the back end in terms of trying to get like wholesale buys from Amazon, which is different. Whereas, you know, when you go on Amazon to buy something, you're doing it print on demand, which literally means Amazon keeps no stock of our magazine. You press purchase, it prints one copy and mails you said copy. That's it. So it's a completely different process than traditional publishing. But with the way that the magazine world is going right now, to be honest with you, this is the best solution we have at this point. We are, however, looking at continuing to, we're currently 120 pages, which is like a full-size book, really.
Yeah.
The goal is actually to bring it down to more like 80 pages, which will also drop the cost a little bit. So the goal is higher quality content, a few more ads, and dropping the page count should bring the cost down a little more. Yeah, I don't know what it costs for you guys. I think I quoted about sending one out to New Zealand because I'm here for another 6 weeks. And I quoted sending one out here and it was like $60 US. And I was like, ooh, yeah, that's a hard pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was $60 for me to send it out here. And I was like, I think I'll just be grabbing my copy when I get home to Canada. Thank you. Love that. It's expensive to ship it overseas. All the good things. But yeah, the cost theoretically should come down. But again, it's some of the factors are controlled by us, but many of it is not. I think, and Nicole may or may not know the answer to this. We've also talked at some point we may turn it into a subscription based, and there might be options for that. But right now, this is the fastest way we can get it out is the flip book for folks that just want to grab it online. Printed copies are always going to cost a little bit more at the moment. But yeah, as we adjust, hopefully those costs can be mitigated a little bit further. This first issue, we sold a few ads, but not as many as a typical magazine would by any stretch. So yeah, we're also looking for great people that would like an ad and maybe they don't want an article. So if you have people that also fit into that category, that they're just, you know, they happen to have a great product for people that go to retreats or whatever, we're also looking for those humans. So, and if you happen to know anybody famous, I'm just saying, I always need some famous folks for front covers because that helps drive traffic to our magazine as well. So if you have any really great connections for people that would make somebody stop and go, ooh, I need to read that article, those are great finds for me as well. Anything else, guys? There's a lot. We always have like a million things to think of and whatever. I think that your articles sound fantastic. I can't wait to see them. And I'm going to leave you because it's like 9:20 in the morning and I'm going to go, you know, to the gym and start the rest of my day.
Awesome. Thanks,
Awesome.
Nicole.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate it. And we'll speak soon, guys. If you have any questions, send everything through your submissions and I will get back to you shortly.